Recently, I was out at a work conference in Vegas, and one evening I got this message from my kid. His laptop was throwing a fan error, wouldn't boot, and he needed it for schoolwork. Luckily, he had a backup system he could use in the meantime, but I knew I needed to repair this when I got home. The next morning, I ordered this part off of Amazon, link in the description. I knew I could dig into it more when I got home, but at this price and knowing I could return it easily if I got it wrong, it was faster to just order it and find out. Not long after I got home, I snagged the laptop and got it down on the workbench. I wanted to see this message for myself and see if it really did keep it from booting. And as you can see here, it did still have the message, and it wouldn't boot. Next, I looked around for the fan and heatsink that arrived from Amazon and located it. One neat thing you can see here in the packaging is that it comes with a small screwdriver and a little tool for prying if needed. I've got tools of my own, but I just use these in case you don't have any and you're just going to use this as it comes. Now, this is the new heat sink and fan here. Just be careful. I probably didn't take it out the best way and may have gotten a little debris on the pre-attached thermal paste there. After that, I'm going to set it aside and we're going to talk about getting this thing opened up. So on the bottom of the laptop, you've just got these 9 screws indicated by these arrows, and they are captured, so you don't have to worry about them popping out or falling out or losing them. You just need to loosen them up until you kind of hear them click like they're not engaged any longer, and then just pop off the bottom. You may have to use a little pry tool to do that, and you don't have to worry about any cables or anything that are attached. It should just freely come off. After I got the bottom off there, I grabbed the new fan heatsink and just kind of held it up to the original to make sure it seemed like I had the correct part, and I did. Next, I removed the 4 screws holding the heatsink down against the CPU. Then I had to fiddle a bit, as you can see here, to release this ribbon cable from this little connector here. I had to flip this piece up and then pull the cable out. And with that, I could completely remove it. And as you can see here, in the process of doing that, I accidentally disconnected one of the antenna leads to the wireless card here. We'll address that when we put it back together. After that, I took a little IPA and a microfiber cloth and got all the old residual heatsink compound off of the CPU. Next, I put the new heatsink and fan down on top of the CPU. And remember, in this case, it does have thermal grease pre-applied to the heatsink. Now, if you're hardcore and you want to use your own stuff here, you could scrape that off, clean it up, and put the thermal paste of your choice on this CPU before you attach the heatsink down. And it's just the 4 screws go back in and you snug those up. Don't go crazy tight. And after this, I worked that ribbon cable back into the connector with a little flip down clasp. And it can be a bit of a pain, but the big thing is to not get impatient. If you feel yourself getting aggravated, maybe step away and take a break, because you definitely don't want to mess up that connector, because that's going to be a pain to replace, and you don't want to mess up your cable here. So just take your time and get it in there just right. And when it seems like it's fully seated, you can flip that little lock down and it should be good to go. So the next thing I had to focus on was reconnecting this RF cable to the wireless card. And it can be a little finicky, but you just want to make sure that you've got it dead on top. It's kind of squared, pointing straight down, because it's like a little coaxial connector. And then you do have to apply firm pressure down to get it to lock in, but you want to make sure it's exactly lined up or you'll damage that connector. So it's one of those things where you have to be careful, but it also requires a bit of a firm push to lock it in. After this, all that there was left to do was to put the bottom back on and snug those screws back up and to give it a test. Now let's see if it fires up. Looks pretty good. That's what we want to see right there. So if you get a fan error on one of these, you can see it's not too terrible to replace it. You can see how I pulled the new one out of there. I think a little bit of debris might have gotten in the thermal pad. If you're hardcore, you might want to scrape off what it comes with and put whatever thermal paste of your choice on there, but I think it's going to be okay for this application. We shall see. All right, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.